done a lot of these, so.
All right, we're here with women's wrestling. Maddy Heinzer, head coach Travis Mercado, Erica Smith. Still can't. That doesn't sound right. So, Coach, just go over before the break. Had a pretty successful outing at Desert Duels. I know the one that you lost is the one that you had kind of bookmarked, but still a good outing.
Yeah, excellent outing. But let's start with the loss to Simon Fraser. They're always a really good team. To say that we walked away with loss by 1 point, like that's what happened. We lost by 1 point. No blame to any single one wrestler. I think we wrestled really well. Simon Fraser is always a really tough team, and I talk really highly of them throughout the years. And we lost a duel. Oh well. We won 5 other ones, right? We can talk about the highlights of that. We had a really great outing that day. Maddy went 6-0 on the day. Erica, I believe, went 3-0 on the day, or 3-1 on the day for her. And ultimately, like what that showed us is that, as the day gets tougher, we got tougher. That match against Simon Fraser was tough, and it was the end of the day, long day for us. And ultimately, we wrestled really well. I'm happy with our performance. Like, we lost one. Darn, I don't get to hang a RMAC banner in the gym yet, right? That's something that's like on the checklist of things to do, right? I have a lot to catch up to Coach Hanks and the baseball one, and just not yet, right? And that's how I think we left it, right? We can't sit here and dwell on one loss. I think we wrestled really well all weekend. Really battled against a really tough team in Wartburg, who will likely maybe see going into national duels this weekend. And then we beat up everybody else in our region, right? And that was, I think, the really great thing for us is that we showed how we were one of the most dominant teams in our region, and again, a dominant team in the nation.
Then before we get to this week, talk about kind of the depth of your lineup. We've talked before about all the freshmen that are in the lineup and how they're performing, and just talk about the depth and how the freshmen have really stepped up and stepped in and filled into those slots.
Looking at this weekend, right, with the freshmen, right, we're talking about depth. The first 6 weight classes are freshmen starting. Maddy at 103, almost said 101 or 103. Right, likely Sophia at 110, but we also have Isabella Morales, 2-time All-American for us, right, who's a junior. 117, right, we're going to see the return of Loriana, and then you also have JoJo, both freshmen, 117 pounds. 124 pounds of Brooke McCurley, Talia Vogelsang, both freshmen. 131, there's our junior, right? There's the first upperclassman in our lineup, right? And then you go 38, an upperclassman, 45, an upperclassman. And then all of a sudden, 60, Gretchen Donnelly, freshman. 80, Maggie Smith, who's a redshirt freshman, or Allison Evans, freshman, right? And then Isabeau Shellac, 5th-year senior for us. So again, a lot of depth there in the sense of some young age, but they've stepped up. They're capable. They know they are. We've constantly reminded them that they are the girls. They're here for a reason. They are here to compete at a really high level, and they're going to perform at a really high level, and they're going to be impactful within our program and impactful within the lineup. I think it allows the older girls opportunities to really challenge themselves, because these younger girls within the lineup want to be the girl too. They want to be the number one girl in that spot. And I think that, again, Erica's spoken a lot about that in different things. Like, this group of freshmen has really created a nice refresh of enthusiasm in the room, of wanting to be the girl that's wearing that CMU singlet on a Friday or Saturday at a tournament. So very grateful for it. And I think it's allowed us to continue to move forward and grow within our program throughout this year.
Maddy, for you, for being a freshman, starting off the lineup, what's been the biggest difference from high school to college?
I think the biggest difference was the practices and like the times.
What in practice specifically?
I think the way we run it too. Like, it's harder to.
You're good. Erica, you've been around for a little while now. How have you seen the program evolve? Like, we've been talking about all the freshmen that are in the lineup now. What's been the biggest thing from your freshman year to now your senior year?
Yeah, there's been a lot of change, but I think it's just been a really great, like, upward steep of growth. Like, this year especially, it's just been like a consistent battle in that room. Like there has like normally in the years past, it's kind of like we go through different waves and it's like, all right, guys, we're in this kind of rut. Like we got to get out of it. And like we do get out of it. But this year it's just been like nonstop, this standard of like excellence in there. And it's been really awesome to see that. Like you've been saying, like the freshman girls, they just kind of push everyone else in the room. And like even the upperclassmen girls, like it's just this really good rotation of everyone looking to each other for support. And it's like, it's nonstop this year. It's been awesome.
Travis, just talk about a quick preview of the national duels this weekend.
Yeah, going into the 2025 NWCA National Duals, probably one of my favorite events of the year. I really love dual meets. I think it just has a different atmosphere and environment. Like the individual national tournament is its own thing and it has its own special place. But duels are fun because wrestling is this individual sport that has this team aspect. You have 10 individuals competing and each having individual performances and then collectively putting those individual performances together to create a team score. And I'm really excited about it. It's like my favorite one. I chalk this up as like something I really like enjoy going and doing. We see a lot of teams that we don't see, right? So our first round matchup was announced on Sunday as Sacred Heart, Division I team out in Connecticut. And we've never wrestled them in a dual meet. In the 7 years of our program. I think Sacred Heart's in year 5. So we've never met up. We've been at the same tournaments. We were at national duels together, didn't get to meet up last year. So to kind of hit them right off the rip is really exciting. They took 5th or 6th. We took 8th. So 2 top 10 teams from last year's national duels hitting in the first round, which is really exciting. Our bench energy is great. I think that's where we've really excelled this year, is the amount of energy that we have on the bench. And you see that in a lot of team sports where, you know, a guy hits a home run and the whole bench comes out and celebrates at home plate, right? Someone hits a big 3-point in a basketball game, the whole bench is excited. Someone has a really good kill in volleyball, the whole bench gets excited, right? We've had that in a wrestling aspect, and it's been a lot of fun because not only are you wrestling by yourself, but you have, we're going to bring 17 girls. You're going to have 16 other girls behind you cheering for you, hyping you up, getting you ready to compete against some of the best teams in the nation, right? So really excited, really eyes focused on Sacred Heart right now. The top side of that bracket is Lock Haven and King. Really looking forward to maybe having a rematch with King from the national duels in 2020 where we had a really close match. So looking forward to that. But again, all eyes locked in on Sacred Heart, getting that first one out of the way and then quick adjustment ready to go for whoever's in front of us next.
Say, girls, what's the biggest challenge you face when you're coming back off from the break? I mean, obviously wrestling, you've got to kind of watch yourselves. You've got to stay in shape. And now you come back and it's been a little more than a week and he's putting you through, I'm guessing, some not fun practices to get you going again.
They're so fun. I think for me, definitely the weight cut. Also like just getting back into the mentality that something's hard. Because when you have a break, it's just easy and you're just going back into a mentality that it's hard, but I can do it and ready to push.
Yeah, I think another thing on that is a lot of girls I've noticed with talking to them the past week has just been their schedules are almost out of whack. Like you go home and it's just like you're at home, you're with your family, and some people have amazing families to go home to and others don't. So it's just like this really hard like whiplash almost going home and then coming back all of a sudden. And I think that right now is kind of the biggest challenge is just like getting back into a routine, a schedule of like mentality, like you're saying, even food. It's like our whole schedule's out of whack than what it was in the semester. Some of us have J terms. So yeah, kind of that's the biggest thing I've noticed.
The reentry sometimes is not easy, right? So
Yeah.
And obviously the strength of the freshmen has to help all of you on the mat. I mean, knowing that you're not the only freshman who's getting thrown to the wolves and you came in ready for it. Does it kind of help knowing that there's 3 or 4 right behind you that are going through the same growing pains?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like good freshmen that came in. Not just like for our school, but like for multiple other schools. Like I think there's a lot of good freshmen. And I think yeah, it helps me, but also like I'm ready to wrestle them. I know they're good, but I'm ready to wrestle.
I was going to kind of piggyback on that a little bit. off the mat, outside the practice room, knowing that you're in a lineup with some of your fellow freshmen, what do you guys do as a team or as a group outside of that, and kind of going through the same experience, being away from home and
I
learning
think-
that life a little bit?
I think the freshmen is a good class. We have a really good class. I think we're all close with each other. We're all friends. We all like to hang out. We also have like events that we like to do with each other too, like not just with the freshmen, but with all of like the class or all the grades. But yeah, I think the freshmen like this year is really, really good. Like we all connect really well. A lot of us come from like the same areas too, so like we relate too.
All right, toughest question of the week. Favorite thing you did over winter break, or favorite moment, or something that you did over winter break?
I got to spend this Christmas with my husband's family this year, and we all went shooting, which was really fun. That was really great.
I think just being with my family for Christmas and definitely eating.
Favorite thing that we did for this winter break is we took the girls sledding down in Telluride. 3 years ago, we went down the hill one time with Kennedy, and she was over it. The snow was in her face, covering her glasses. She laughed and had a good time going down the mountain the whole time, and then got to the bottom and it was full tears. And this time it was like I had to lug her up the mountain, and because she wanted to go so many times. So it was a lot of fun to go sledding in Telluride.
Awesome. Thank you and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're calling D. He's going to give you a press conference.